Hey everybody, today I want to talk about the 5 ways we are being manipulative without even knowing it. But if you're new to my channel, welcome. Make sure you're subscribed and have your notifications turned on so that you don't miss out on any new videos. Most of us have felt manipulated by someone at one point or another in our lives. I've even discussed this in videos about gaslighting, narcissism, and toxic relationships. Because we talk about manipulation like it's a terrible thing and only horrible people engage in it, it can be really hard for any of us to imagine that we have done it to anyone else. But it's more common than you think. And if we don't know we're doing it, we obviously can't stop. And that's why today I want to talk about the ways we may be being manipulative without even realizing it. Example number 1 is passive aggression. I have so much to say about passive aggression. I even debated making an entire chapter of my book dedicated to it. But after talking to my editor, we thought that toxic relationships as a chapter was sufficient. Now let's be honest. Most of us didn't grow up in a family where clear and direct communication was supported, meaning that we usually had to stuff our feelings down because it didn't feel safe or supported to express them. Possibly just to explode in anger or upset later. Or on the flip side, maybe our family yells about everything. Either way, no upsets were calmly and clearly communicated about, which usually means resolution or understanding didn't happen either. And all of this unhealthy and indirect communication leaves us not knowing how to do it in our own life. You know what I mean? Like, we never saw healthy communication, so we never learned how to do it ourselves, and tend to, unless we work on it, fall into the same patterns that our family had. Like, we continue to stuff it down, or we decide that we're going to yell about everything. Enter passive aggression. When we don't know how to communicate our needs or wants, we can get very clever at getting them met in other ways. For example, let's say I really don't want to go with Sean to that work event because I'm too tired and frankly, not into it. Well, if I don't know how to communicate that to him directly, I could drag my feet, make us super late, or forget to pick up the dry cleaning like I said I would, or really any other indirect way of making the work event not happen, or at least make him miserable for making me go. Now, passive aggression never leads us anywhere we want to go. If you are sitting there thinking that by doing that, you're actually getting what you want and totally winning or whatever, you are so wrong. Sure, you may have gotten your way this one time, but the erosion of honesty and loyalty in your relationships, it frankly just isn't worth it. So instead of trying to manipulate someone into doing what you really want, try telling them directly. Sure, I know, it's uncomfortable. Sure, we don't know what we're doing or maybe how to say it perfectly, we get nervous, but just let them know that. And that you're just trying your best. I promise you, it will feel so much better. Example number 2 is the art of suggestion. And this is when instead of asking someone if they want something, or more importantly, if what they want is what we want, we just suggest that they do. An example of this would be when meeting up with a friend for dinner, instead of telling them that we're tired and would prefer to meet closer to our side of town and ask if they mind coming this way, we suggest a place by our house that we thought they would really want to check out. We could even make a reservation prior to talking with them about it. Again, this isn't as healthy as real and direct communication. Of course, it's completely okay to be tired and not want to drive another hour after work. But if we don't tell our friend that, we aren't giving them the ability to do us that favor. And then, because they've done us that favor, we can thank them, which I know can sound kind of silly and small, not important. But sometimes when we manipulate others into giving into our way, we never get to say thank you. Because in a way, we force them into doing what we want. And a small shift like that from forcing to allowing and then thanking can honestly make all the difference. And I believe it can even deepen our relationships. Example number 3 is playing the victim or being a martyr. And we can do this when we're overly dramatic in order to get people to do what we want. Example number 3 is playing the victim or being a martyr. And we can do this when we're overly dramatic in order to get people to do what we want. We could even start crying in order to keep our friend at our house. Or we could exaggerate how bad we're feeling to get more sympathy. Now, I know we all need love and support, but there isn't anything wrong with simply telling our friends and family that we need it. That way, we are acknowledging how we feel and what we need, and we're communicating it. And you all know how important that is for our mental health and for the health of our relationships. And again, this allows us to ask those we're in relationships with for something. Have them give it to us, and then we can thank them, which is just so great. Example number 4 is lying. And no, I don't mean lying outright. That obviously is not something that should be a part of any healthy relationship. What I mean by lying is when we say we're going to do something or show up for someone, and if we were being honest, we don't really have any intention of doing it. We could have even made a deal with them previously in order to get our way in that previous situation. For example, let's say I didn't feel like doing my laundry. So I told Sean that if he did mine this time, that then I would do his the next 2 times. But I never follow through. And in fact, I never planned on doing his laundry. I just didn't want to do mine last time, and I'd do anything to get out of it. So make sure when we offer to do something in the future, that we actually intend on doing it and we follow through. And if you're forgetful, I can be forgetful, you could put reminders in your phone. Or more importantly, let that friend or your spouse know that they can remind you. Sometimes just giving them that permission, to call you out on that promise, it'll prevent any resentments from building. And finally, example number 5 is stonewalling. In school, I remember this being listed as one of John Gottman's 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, meaning that if this is happening in any of your relationships, your relationship is headed to an abrupt end. And if you're just curious, the other 3 are criticism, defensiveness, and contempt. But stonewalling is defined as a refusal to communicate or cooperate. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it, it's super manipulative. By being silent and not answering calls, texts, messages, or not speaking when they ask how we are trying to force them to bend to our will. Being silent doesn't actually get us anywhere, and it can only aggravate the issue, possibly turning a small disagreement into weeks of radio silence. Now, the best way to deal with disagreements or upsets is to meet up in person is preferred if it's at all possible. And you knew this was coming, talk about it. Tell them what happened and what was upsetting you. And then listen to them, this is important, listen to them as they tell you their side. Do your best to hear them out. We each have a unique view of a disagreement, and we're all correct. Did you hear me? We each have a unique view of a disagreement, and we're all correct. So listen, apologize where you need to, and hopefully they will do the same. If they refuse to apologize for their part in it or continue to blame and shout, then you know how limited that relationship is going to have to be. And you can choose to end it, or at least distance yourself from them as much as possible. I know this video was a bit harsh, but we are all guilty of doing these things. As a teenager, I was a constant stonewaller. I was the queen of the silent treatment. And as an adult, I struggled to not suggest things. But being aware of the ones that you do the most is the first step towards becoming a better friend, partner, and relative. Then we just have to try our best, that's important, just try our best to communicate what it is we want or need, and trust that they will rise to the occasion. Now, I do also have to mention that relationships are give and take, and if we are constantly asking for things from those in our life and never returning the favor, that's not healthy either. So just try to keep that in mind as well. Was this information shocking to you? Which ones do you do most? Or are there ways that you have stopped? Please share all of that in the comments down below, and I will see you next time. Bye. Now I have so much to say. In order to Now let's be honest. Most of us, I don't know why it's like my tongue is dramatic.